Okay, so my name is Stu Sheldon. I work in the corporate and enterprise team, one of the account managers here at Chess Telecom, and I'm going to talk a little bit about ISDN, Integrated Services Digital Network. Most important thing with ISDN really is the word digital. It's a digital line which is opposite to an analog line, which is what most people would use for at home for a landline or for possibly connected to an internet connection. So the first thing from a sales point of view is that you can't actually use an ISDN line for a data connection, so for an ADSL or fibre option. One of the first things that's really important from a sales point of view is that when you're looking at an ISDN opportunity or discussing ISDN options with a customer, is that they must have, if it's an existing account, they must have a system for it to work. So again, if it's a new opportunity and somebody needs to install ISDN and they need the technology for ISDN, they'll need to make sure that they look at buying a system which potentially can be a lead which can be raised for one of the PBX sales account managers. There's two forms of ISDN. The first is ISDN2. So the bearer, it speaks for itself, as an ISDN2, which is 2 channels. It's a minimum of 2 channels and a maximum which is unlimited. Now a lot of people tend to think it's 8 because the minimum on ISDN 30 is actually 8 channels. So it's a reinstall is an ISDN 2 which gives customer 2 available lines. That's concurrent calls at any one particular time, and they come in multiples of 2s. As long as the phone system's got capacitor, then you can upgrade and you can get as many ISDN 2s as you possibly need. The reason that a customer would possibly move from an ISDN to an ISDN 30 is if they need something a little bit more scalable and they want to get installs done a little bit quicker, and it's a bit more of a bigger sort of telephony setup, a bit bigger network. So an ISDN 30 is a minimum of 8 channels. So each bearer is installed, again making sure that there's the right capacity, the right equipment in the system for it to work. So an ISDN card, and whatever else is required from the system point of view. So from a network services point of view, we need to make, if we're looking at an opportunity for a PBX guy, let them deal with the work in terms of what's required for the system. You concentrate purely on the network side of an ordering services, so the install and making sure that the order's placed correctly with provisioning. And so the ISDN 30, as I said before, it's a minimum of 8 channels, so maximum of 30, believe it or not. But what happens when you get to 30 channels? So that's 30 concurrent calls, again, inbound and outbound, simultaneous calls that can happen at any one time. If the business outgrows the 30 channels and need more, they can have more. They'd have to get a new bearer installed, again, making sure that there's a capacity in the system for it to work. And that would be, again, minimum of 8 channels. So if the customer had 30 and wanted to get 35 channels, unfortunately that's not available. They'd have to go 30 to 38, and then they've got capacity to move from 38 all the way up to 60. Again, once they reach 60, they can move and look at other options, so they can get another bearer and move and get potentially another 30 channels installed. So that really sort of sums up the basics of ISDN technology in terms of what you get from it. The other thing to bear in mind is that people can have direct extensions, so what they call DDIs, which is direct dial in, and what that basically is extension numbers. So the difference really is you can have as many extension numbers as you want. They come in blocks of 10, usually simultaneously, so from 01 all the way up to 09. They come in blocks of 10, and they can be passed as extensions direct to individuals within a company or individual groups within a company. You can have as many as you require, as I said before, but the thing to bear in mind is that if you've got 100 extension numbers and you've got 30 channels, that just means that although there's 100 extensions, only 30 of them 100 can be in use at any one particular time. If again, from a sales point of view, if you're getting a customer that's calling in to discuss potentially that there's engaged tones or there's issues with the line where people can't make or receive a call, they haven't got enough line. So potentially that is a sales opportunity for you to look at what the requirement is and get an order processed to increase the channel amount that they potentially need. It's important that when we're looking at these opportunities that we're regularly putting account reviews in to make sure that we are aware of any changes that happen within a business, so we can look at the required amount of channels now and moving forward, potentially as the business increases or decreases in size. So that's really an overview in terms of ISDN technology. From a sales point of view, always relating back to what's important for us: systems, the number of lines, inbound and outbound, the number of extensions, various different leads that we can look at.